Good morning, folks. Rodney here. Starting Saturday morning coffee with Rodney prematurely. Good morning, folks. Rodney. Let me silence that. Obviously, nobody's joined the chat yet, but here I am. This is the last Saturday morning coffee with Rodney for 2019. Next week, it'll be 2020. We'll be starting a new year, and hopefully things will work out great. Good morning, Night Train. Welcome to the chat. Exploration Obsession. How's it going, Les? Ken. Okay, you said you couldn't make it. How you doing, shipmate? So you're on travel, huh? Anyway, it is a beautiful day here today. If you were on my sunrise stream, you got to see that, and it looks like it's going to be a good day. And I think they're forecasting it's going to be a warm day, which would be cool. It's 41 degrees out there. That's why it was so toasty out there. So it says, just parking in while I go see if my Mini can break through the sky this morning. Not much luck for Dennis. No, it was kind of difficult. That cloud cover and that sometimes in Georgia can be down here all still sleeping. Got you. Whiz bang. But anyway, well, I'm waiting for some other people to join. I've sent out my emails. I'm not sure if my Australian friends are going to be joining. Hello, Victorian Aerial Vision. How are you today? You're from Australia, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, you're right. This is becoming a habit. But hey, it's a good habit, right? It's better than most. But anyway. So, well, I tell you what, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to post the link in the chat. And if any of you find people want to join in, please feel free to do so. I won't be leaving it up long. Good morning, Mel. Mel, there's the link. So far, nobody has shown up on the panel, obviously, so I'm putting that out in there. There's Mel. That'll be interesting. Mel got he got a racing drone a couple of weeks ago from last week actually, from Brent Nunley, and as well as Brent sending me one as well. I still haven't got it though, but Mel was giving his a test flight, and so it ought to be interesting. Mel, it says your devices aren't connected. Are you still working that out? I see you in the green room, but well, you just went away. So, but anyway, there he is. Oh, family till next year. I'm the. Morning, buddy.
Morning.
Morning. How are you today?
Oh man, sorry about that. I forgot that I had everything tore apart and unplugged.
Well, for whatever for.
Well, I got the case off. I got the back cover off. I got.
Looks like
What's that?
Looks like you're doing some upgrading, maybe.
Well, I actually ended up downgrading. I went from 32 gig of RAM to 16 because I had to put some in Sonari's PC.
Okay.
I was hoping Dennis would come in this morning. I got a question about a build problem, but
okay. Well, you know what? I need to send him a link. I'll do that. I'll do that right now. You're talking about Dennis Lovelady, right?
Yeah. I just wanted his opinion on something. We had an issue doing her build, and I don't know if I ruined a stick of RAM. Morning, Wiz, or what happened. I don't know.
Well, what's the symptom?
Well, she got some things donated. Dennis donated a couple of things. Another friend of mine pitched in on the case, so I bought her a case, and I actually had that wrapped in under the tree, along with one of the things that Dennis donated, a video card. And yesterday, Thursday, we went around looking at different parts and prices and stuff. And then yesterday, she decided she's going to buy all this stuff. So she bought the motherboard. She bought the Ryzen 3 chip, which I didn't want her to buy. I wanted her to wait, but she's anxious to get this new computer up and running because she can't use her other one at all, hardly.
Mm.
So RAM was not in her budget. Neither was a higher grade CPU chip. So she got the Ryzen 3, which, according to all the information, is good enough to run light games, run gaming.
Yeah.
And you all right?
Yeah, just my dog's attacking my cat.
Oh. So I pulled 16 gig of RAM out of my machine to put in hers temporarily, because that was the only thing that she couldn't afford to get.
Morning, Adrian.
Morning, Adrian.
Morning, Rodney. How you doing, Mel?
So, doing good. How are you? So I put everything together, pushed the power button. Everything lit up on the motherboard, but nothing lit up on the monitor. And I'm like, what the hell's the problem here? So I struggle with it, and it made absolutely no sense, because it should have been putting up the options to get into system settings and BIOS on the chip, right?
Right.
Well, nothing would light up on the monitor. So I unplugged everything, put it all back together again, made sure everything was right, checked all the plugs on the motherboard. Everything was plugged in good. Everything was the way it ought to be. Powered it back up, same result. So I pulled the cables off the back and carried it up to Best Buy, where we bought the motherboard and chip, and took it to the Geek Squad over there. And I said, man, you guys got to check this out. I think I got a bad motherboard. He said, why do you think that? I said, well, here's what's going on. He goes, yeah, sounds like it might be. So he takes and he sets it on the bench right behind him, and he plugs in a video cable, and he plugs in a power cable, and he hits the boot button, and nothing happens. I mean, it lights up on the motherboard, but nothing comes up on his monitor. So he says, what chip you got in here? I said, the 3. He said, well, that's part of the problem. He said, the Ryzen 3 chip does not support onboard video on the motherboard.
Oh, no.
I've never heard of such a damn thing.
Neither have I.
Anyway, He goes in the back and he grabs some little video card. He sticks it in. He powers it up and it lights up.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, no. First, it didn't light up. And then he started scratching his head because he thought sure that would solve the issue. So he started playing with the RAM. He pulled the RAM out and put just one chip in, and it lit up. And
Then it's Lovelady.
Hey, sorry, I try to fix this video. Hey, everyone. Sorry.
morning, Dennis. So then he puts the second chip in, and it won't light up the monitor. He says, "Oh, well, it looks like your RAM's good and the CPU is good and everything." He says, "I think you got a bad motherboard." I said, "Well, I bought the motherboard and the chip and everything right here 30 minutes ago, an hour ago. Swap that motherboard out." He said, "Well, I can do that, but because you built the box, if I swap it, it'll be $150. I
Oh,
said, no. Give me the box. I'll go. He says, "You can buy the motherboard and, take it home and swap it. Or if you got the tools with you, you can swap it out in your car and then bring the other one back in." I said, "Yeah, I could do that, but I don't have the $120 to buy the other motherboard." So I had to come all the way home, tear the thing down, pull the motherboard out, go back to Best Buy, swap the motherboard, bring it back. Sonari asked me, she said, "How often does this happen?" I said, "I've had a bad motherboard on a build one other time. In all the builds I've done, I've had it happen once." She was like, "Okay." She said, "Well, what's the chances of getting two bad motherboards in a row?" I said, "Impossible." She said, "Okay." So we put it all back together. I put both sticks of RAM in it, put a video card in it this time, knowing that the Ryzen 3 chip doesn't support onboard video on the motherboard. Hit the power button and nothing happens. I'm like, what the hell? So I pulled one of the RAM chips out, hit the power button, and it lit the monitor up.
Huh.
So I was like, well, this is the same damn thing it was doing at the store. So I shut it off. I pulled that RAM chip out. I put the other one in, and it wouldn't light up. I thought, well, what the hell's up with that? So then I took both RAM chips out, put them back in my computer. Uh-oh, we lost Adrian.
Adrian.
Put them back in my computer where they came from. And my computer then said 32 gig installed, 16 available, 16 usable.
Huh.
So I think I got a RAM chip that for some reason, when I pulled it out of my machine to put in hers, quit working.
Huh.
So now I need to get a pair of 8s for my machine to put back in it. And I need to get a pair of 8s to put in her machine so that she'll have a full 16 gig of RAM.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deal with that kind of stuff almost daily because the work I do is we deal a lot with industrial type PCs, which is nothing more than a industrial case PC, and we get memory problems a lot, which is surprising.
Well, I've never had a problem with RAM before, ever,
Yeah. Well,
these chips, I got 4 of them. I bought all 4 of them at the same time. They're Corsair Vengeance, 8 gig chips, RGB, so they light up when you power the machine up. And they've been in my machine a year. When I built it, I put all 4 8 gig chips in it for 32 gig of RAM, and I've not had a problem with it.
did you say that it wouldn't work with either set of chips?
No, it would only work with one.
Oh, it would only work with one.
And when I put both chips in it, it wouldn't light up the monitor.
Okay. Okay.
When I swapped them, you know, when I had this chip in, it wouldn't light up the monitor. But when I put the other chip in, it would light up.
Okay.
So right now I'm running it just on a single chip. So it's not running dual frequency.
Right.
It's just running one side, you know?
Yeah.
So I need to get, when the budget allows or donations come in or something, I need to get 2 more 8 gig chips, a pair of 8s for her machine. And for some reason, whatever caused this one to go bad, to get my machine back up to snuff, I need to get another pair of 8s or a pair of 16s I'll put in my machine, and then take these other 2 8s I got and put one of them in hers to give her 16, and then I'll have a spare 16 gig chip. Or
Now,
a spare 8 gig chip, I mean.
okay, so if I understood you correctly, you put the cards back, the 2 memory boards back into your computer, and only one of them worked.
I kept the 2 in there that I've got on it, the 2 that are on the motherboard.
Right.
And when I put both of these back in, it should have gave me my 32 gig of RAM back.
Absolutely.
Well, when I go to my system, it shows me I got 32 gig with 16 available, or 16 gig usable.
Oh.
So it's not recognizing, you know. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I did not go into the boot settings, into the advanced boot settings, and tell the computer use all this RAM, you know.
Yeah. Right.
And when I go there right now, it shows I've got whatever 1024 times 16 comes out to. I can't remember now, but because that's how you measure it. That's how you type it in there. But yeah, so apparently I've got a bad chip, and I don't know what would cause it to go bad.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to think I didn't have a bad motherboard in the first place, because when I brought it home and put the new motherboard back in it and put it all back together and put both chips on the motherboard, I got the same result. No video lit up. Morning, 13.
So when you took it into Best Buy, though, you had the memory chip in it, right?
Both of them.
And I'm surprised the Geek Squad didn't check that aspect of it.
Well, he pulled one out and it booted up.
Well, that should have been the first clue right there.
Well, he said that I don't think after it booted up, I don't recall that he shut it off and swapped chips like I did.
Right.
But see, after I put both chips in on the new motherboard and it wouldn't light the monitor up, I pulled one out and it lit the monitor up. Okay, I used the first slot closest to the CPU, right? Like you're supposed to. And then I shut it off and I pulled that chip out and I put this chip in that first slot and it wouldn't light up the monitor. So then I took both chips and put them back on my motherboard, and that's when it said I had 32 installed, 16 available.
Right.
Morning, Ron.
Morning, Ron. Let me take a few minutes here. There's several people joined the chat. Daddy 13, welcome to the chat. Nacho Rolling Dennis, good morning. Ron Lockwood, good morning. God the Good One, good morning. Glad to see you in the chat. And I think that was Chris Hope. He's in the chat.
Oh, morning, Chris.
And then, of course, we got Whiz Bang and Victorian Aerial Vision and 400 AGL. Man, I wish that guy would go away.
We can handle that. He'll be right. He'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Good morning, guys. Hey, Ron, if you're available, check your email, buddy. Well, guess Matt North and Peter Carroll are gone to bed. Of course, I can't say that I blame them. RC Crazy. How's it going, Eric? Man, sorry you got in on the tail end of the sunrise stream, but hey, you're here now. So on the panel, I got 400 AGL who stepped away. We got Dennis Lovelady who stepped away. They should be back momentarily. Anyway, so I hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas. I know I certainly did. Here's one of my gifts. My wife's youngest grandson got this for me. He knows I'm a Star Wars fan, but this is a Sith Stormtrooper, and they appear in the newest movie. And then one of her other grandsons and granddaughter got me this cup, all Star Wars and stuff. And then I got some, I got a really nice U.S. Navy beer stein, and from my daughter. And then I got a couple of travel mugs and some spiced cucumbers. And see, with spiced cucumbers, some pickled green beans, some salsa, and some pepper jelly from my son and daughter-in-law. So that was pretty good Christmas. Let's see. Good morning, Rick Halber. How are you doing, my friend? So let me check something. Yeah. So as you can see, my regulars aren't showing up this morning. I imagine Matt and Peter are taking a night off. I mean, they stay up pretty late just to be here for my Saturday morning show, and I can't fault them for that at all. Ron, check your email, buddy. My irregulars, yeah. I got Mel on here, and Dennis was here, but he got off, so I'm assuming that something came up. So, oh, Ron, you must be working, huh? If you're going to be going home in about 2 hours. Got you, Ron. You was invisible, Dennis, on Matt's. Went into Matt's channel right when they were ending. I was so disappointed. I mean, usually it lasts 2 or 3 hours, but I must have missed something somewhere. Yeah, I bet Peter was talking up a storm. But anyway, it's a beautiful day here. Time for a political announcement. Hello, Mel.
I'm back.
And in 2020, vote for the Grumpy Vlogger.
Now, I thought you didn't do politics.
I told you last week. I'll do it for Lloyd.
That's funny.
That is funny. I get such a big kick out of him sometimes.
Yeah, he's a card, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. So, Well, it looks like Dennis dropped all the way out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a shame.
Yeah, I think his phone rang, and so
Oh,
it may be an emergency or something. So, but we got RC Crazy in the house. Nacho rolling. Rick Halbert has joined the chat.
morning, Rick. Oh, yeah. So it just puzzles me as to how a RAM chip could go bad like that, you know?
Well, I mean, there could be any number of reasons. If it wasn't seated properly and a pin crossed. So sometimes they put ground and power right together. And and I've had this happen to me when I was in the Navy. I put in a card and I didn't realize that the card was cattywampus. And I turned that thing on and the smoke come pouring out.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't have nothing like that happen. I mean, I'm not made of money anymore. I mean, when I was trucking, if this happened, I'd just go down to the store and buy another, couple of chips or something. But
yeah.
So I'm real careful. And before I even put the power cable on the power supply on this thing last night, I double checked the motherboard and made absolutely sure everything was plugged in correctly and properly. So I don't know. It just kind of irritates me.
I imagine so. Whizbang is happened to leave, so I want to say have a good weekend, Ken, and be safe and have a very happy New Year.
Absolutely.
Okay, Rick, no problems, brother. No problems.
Yeah. You get well soon, buddy.
Yes, absolutely.
So there was a couple of guys in the Discord server that I made for y'all this morning. We got total of 5 new members in there now.
Really? And how do I get to that?
We got Chris Hope, Dennis Lovelady, Mike B, of course, Dan from Touch My Bum Drone Worship, and Wendell Live is now on the server.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you seen his videos? Wendell Live? He's pretty good.
I don't know. You're having surgery on Monday at 6 a.m. Okay. Rick. Yeah, I made a server on Discord called SRCI. It's Sunrise Club International. And Dennis Lovelady just came live on the Discord.
Yeah, he sent me a text. He's talking to his wife, so. Oh no, he's back. There he is. I
did send you that text, but then
message.
Then I couldn't get back to here, so I said, okay. I was talking to my wife anyway, so there you go.
Well, now there's a lot of people joining.
Well,
Rodney just joined.
Yeah, but it's telling me my email is already registered. So
yeah, so you don't have to register. All you got to do is click in there.
It says Rodney just showed up. Hold my beer.
Yep.
Watch this. Hold my beer.
Yeah.
Okay. There. Okay. Rodney just showed up. All righty. All right. Michael B.
Nacho. Yeah. Phantom Trucker's me. That's 400 AGL.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So anyway, my thought was with this that you know, sometimes when you guys are doing your sunrises, there's some disconnect between who's going live when next and all that.
Yeah.
And if you guys spread the word about the Discord, it'll give all of you a background channel to communicate on, and other people can like pay attention to it and go, oh, okay, I know in 5 more minutes, Dennis is going up or whatever. You know,
Oh yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
I
it would
am.
be helpful.
I'm late. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, you done missed the train.
The night train. No, I didn't miss him. I saw him there a minute ago.
I want to say good morning to Metro Drones, who just joined the chat, and Tim Holmes, who's just joined the chat. And joining the panel is the one, the only, Ron Lockwood.
All right, Ron.
Well, that's
Morning,
a good thing that's the one and only.
Yeah. No
that's
kidding.
true. They didn't want to do any more in those.
Yeah, they did the same thing with me, Ron. They blew the mold up when they got done with mine.
Yeah, they buried mine. I said no.
Yeah, they didn't save mine; they destroyed it. Anyway, hope you had a good Christmas.
It was not too badly eventful. I've been here for 10 days. I hope to go home in 1 hour and 35 minutes.
All right.
Yeah, you had a pretty long week,
Yeah.
but you know he worked extra hours so other people could be with their families on Christmas, and you got to respect the man for that.
I know there wasn't anything out of your sympathy card, Rodney, for last week because I was sick. I've been sick as a dog for a week, but you know, just coming back from tropical vacation, I saw the tears coming out of your eyes.
Yeah. So, what do you want? A cookie and a star, or what? You know, I mean,
Hey, Ron, you better pucker up, Buttercup, because you're the one that took the Hawaiian holiday and come back to freezing cold temperatures. So
I know
you deserve what you get. Sorry.
I just hope I can go home. Yesterday morning, I was on at 24. We got tapped out at 5:30, and I didn't get out of here till noon.
well,
I was on like a 28, 29-hour shift yesterday. The guy was a real piece of work too. Yeah, it's been a long shift. I'm ready to go home.
I bet you are.
that's the way Sonari was on Christmas Day. She had to work Christmas Day. She's a server, a waitress.
Yeah.
And she clocked in at 5:30 Christmas morning and clocked out at 9:30 Christmas night.
Oh my goodness,
Oh.
man, that's a long shift.
For a waitress, it is.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they're on their feet, and it's for Waffle House, no less. So it's 9:30 Christmas night.
Uh-oh.
Oh my goodness, man, that's a long shift. Uh-oh.
For a waitress, it is.
Yeah.
Dennis,
Hang on,
So
guys.
they're on their feet, and it's for Waffle House, no less. So somebody's got something.
Yeah,
going.
it's me.
Man, that's a long shift.
Uh-oh.
For a waitress, it is.
Yeah. Hang on, guys. I hit the wrong freaking button.
Boy, I'll say. Did you fix it?
You don't hear
Yep,
me.
it's
anymore,
fixed.
do you?
Yep.
It sounds much more gooder now. Yeah.
much more gooder.
What's in the box, Dennis?
I don't know. It hasn't been opened yet. I received this on actually I do. I received this on Thursday. It came from a place in Shenzhen, China called DJI Technology, something or other.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Is that a Mavic? Is that a Mavic Mini?
It is.
Are you going to do a box opening right here on my show?
You know what? I can do that because I bet there are a million unboxings on YouTube. So.
Well, how did that end up at your address? I thought that was coming to my address.
Oh, you know, I made a mistake. I accidentally.
I thought maybe
myself.
DJI made the mistake. Okay.
No, I did that.
Oh.
But I
Oh,
might
well.
as well keep it now since it's here.
May as well. Yeah. There's no sense in paying shipping on it again.
Yeah, let's do. If you don't mind, I don't want to take over your show, Rodney.
No, go ahead. Here, let me give you full screen.
This is actually a little bit unwieldy because I have to hold the box pretty high with the laptop listen to me, the tablet the way it is. All right, so here we go. We'll just take it out of the box and be done with it. So, anyway, this is pretty exciting stuff. I've showed extreme restraint because I didn't know what I was going to do as far as the box opening is concerned. So I'll just do what I normally do. I'll open it for myself. And the heck with the rest of you people.
Right.
There we go. It's a Mavic Mini.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, is that the Flymore also?
It is. Flymore combination.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yep.
Yeah. Even with the 25-minute battery life, I still feel like it's good to be able to cycle the batteries.
Absolutely.
You're not wearing one battery down constantly. So looks like it goes this way, I hope. All right. Actually, no. It's a mystery how this opens.
I think that one slides from the center, doesn't it?
No, I got it here. It
Oh.
comes up.
Oh.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, it has a case inside, and that case is pretty heavy. So I'm guessing I already know what's in there. I've not watched any unboxings of this, and we have another box. I like it when there are boxes in my boxes. And this is probably books. This, I don't know. We'll just see. I'll open this quickly. I'm not going to take all of Rodney's show. That wouldn't be nice. Anyway, let's see. This opens this way. Pretty heavy. Okay, so it's 3 batteries. So am I getting 4 batteries? Is that
No,
right?
you get 3. You get
Okay,
one for the drone and 2 with the Flymore.
So, yeah, but I would expect, I don't know. Anyway,
The charging hub holds 3
gotcha.
on this device.
Gotcha. All right, so that's what the batteries look like. Sorry, can't get used to this camera being on the left. And yeah, so let's see why there's no battery inside here. I would expect it to be inside here. Okay. So there it is. Oh my goodness, it is tiny. You know, it's always a surprise, and it is light.
Does it feel like there's nothing there?
It feels like almost nothing. Yes.
Then there's probably no battery in it.
Yeah. Yeah, because the battery is pretty heavy. Yeah. And then this looks like maybe a charging hub.
Yep, that's your hub, and you only have lights on the hub. There's no lights on the batteries telling you how much charge they have.
Oh, that's disappointing. All right. So okay. Also, the joysticks are removable, which is, I'm not a fan of that, but that's okay. Anyway, I wanted this for its extreme portability. So there we go. And Rodney, take it back, please. I don't want to take your show. I honestly don't want to take your show.
You're not taking my show.
There we go.
We
Yeah,
like
I would
watching
play it
guys
better.
open new drones, even if we've seen 500 of them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's still a new drone,
Yeah, well,
and it's still something that you're happy about and
Oh, yeah.
excited about, and so forth.
You get to see me smile for once.
speaking of drones, Mel, how you coming with that Brent Nunley drone that you got?
I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
I don't have a Brent Nunley drone. Oh, that drone.
That drone, yeah.
It's coming quite well. Would you like to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if I can reach over here and grab this sandwich baggie full of parts. Because there it is, folks. There's what's left of it.
All right.
Oh, did you crash it?
Actually, there's a little bit more. There's the broken frame and the burnt ESC board.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Good
no.
Lord. What did you do to that thing, Mel?
Technically, see, it's not supposed to flex like that.
Uh-huh.
It's broke right here in the very center.
Oh boy.
Technically, I did not crash it, Ron. Technically.
Okay, but realistically.
Did it crash?
I was pilot in command at the moment that it met its match, which was the asphalt.
Okay.
Ooh.
I ended up much higher than I was prepared for because being inexperienced with a 5-inch 4-cell 4S, battery drone, I got video on my channel. I might have made the video private or unlisted, but I was trying to hover it and stuff, and I was getting the feel of the throttle and whatnot, because this is quite a bit heavier than my Tiny Hawk. And at some point, I felt that I needed to make a correction, so I cracked the throttle. And when I cracked the throttle, it went whoop about 100 feet. Well, I was trying to get it back down around where I was and closer to, the ground and whatnot. And I flew it through the sun.
Oh,
Right.
And once I became blinded by the sun, not only could I not see, but a few seconds later, when I could see, I could no longer see the drone. I had no idea where it was.
Oh my.
So the only thing I could do at that point was disarm the motors and let it fall. So that's what I did. And yeah.
On those FPV, I've never flown an FPV drone. Do they have any kind of telemetry on an app?
Nope.
Is
There are things you can add on that will give you that. You can even put GPS stabilization on them if you want to. But no, this is like no GPS, ADI mode, all the time at 100 miles an hour. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to mine.
Oh, you getting into it, Rodney?
Yeah, Brent sent me one as well.
So I'll tell you. Now I've flown the Tiny Hawk quite a bit, and I've flown on the simulator quite a bit, and I actually do quite well on the simulator. I don't do too bad in stabilized mode with the Tiny Hawk. Dan from Drone Worship keeps saying, flip the switch and push the sticks, put it into acro mode and fly it. I was not wearing the goggles when I did this flight. It was more of a test flight to make sure that we had all the settings right, because if you guys recall, I did a live stream with the very first time of firing it up, and every time I'd arm the motors, it would flip over. Well, the electronic gyro and stuff that's in the control boards was electronically inverted. So when the drone was upright, as soon as you put power to it, it thought it was upside down and it was trying to right itself, so it would flip over.
Oh, that's on the video. That's what was causing it to do
When
that.
I was in the front yard, and I'd arm the motors and it would flip right there at nearly full throttle. It whoop, and it would flip over. Well, that was what was up with that. So that was the problem with that. We got that dialed in, got that all fixed, and I took it back out Christmas Day and armed the motors, and it sat there idling. I thought, ooh, all right, we got this solved. And I bumped the throttle just a little bit, and it lifted up and bounced a few times. And it tends to want to fly. So I had to actually disarm the motors to get it to set back on the ground again. and it would bounce and fall over and things like that a few times. But I got it where I was hovering it pretty good and not doing too bad with it. And probably if I'd have had the goggles on when it went in the air, I probably would not have had to drop it out. I probably would have been able to bring it back or land it somewhere.
Yeah.
But because I wouldn't have been blinded by the sun and I'd have been doing the FPV view and I'd have been able to see where it was. It wasn't 20 feet away from me, but it was 50, 75 feet in the air, whatever, 100 feet. I got it to come down quite a ways, but because I was concentrating so hard on the drone and keeping control of it, I wasn't paying attention to the sun and I flew it right through the sun and just, yeah. So.
Wow. Yeah, sorry to hear that, man. So let me take a few minutes or a few seconds here to say hi to some people. RC Crazy, welcome to the chat. Night Train, Jim Wallace, Rick Halber, Mrs. RC and Custom Designs. Good morning, Tiff. There was a couple RC Funds Diversion. Good morning, John. Did I say Jim Wallace? Jim Wallace, good morning, in case I didn't. Daddy of 13. Mason Keiser, good morning. Okay, I'm done.
Morning, everybody that came in.
Good morning, all.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen when you're up in the air. It's like the other morning we were coming home from Fargo and hit freezing fog. And about 3 minutes later, we made the decision we're going to hit the ground. And softly, that helicopter started to freeze up. I worked the helicopter Christmas Day. And, yeah, so we ended up landing about 40 miles from home. And mechanic got called out. He came up with a van, got all of our equipment, got us. And we left it sit there. Out in the middle of nowhere in this tiny little town is a small little helipad that we knew about, and that's where it's at.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow, well, at least you were able to get it down safely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's scary stuff.
Yeah.
That is.
Does the freezing fog, I mean, like in a big truck, I know that stuff will collect on your windshield and everything else. Does it do the same thing on a helicopter? Does it collect on the rotor blades and stuff, or?
Yeah, they have the de-icing on there, but still you got, it just adds the weight. You start getting ice and man, well, you know, from flying before, Mel, you've flown. Yeah, you start adding all that weight and then your performance and the performance of the blades and
Right.
yeah, everything kind of goes to heck in a handbasket.
Right.
So these one thing about this plane I like, we can actually go in some half decent ice. They have those inflatable boots on the leading edge of the blade
That expand the leading edge and break the ice loose.
Yeah, that's kind of cool to watch that sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of neat that they do that.
Yeah, but
it's crazy that they would add that kind of technology to a wing. You know, I mean, it's just, but it works.
Yeah, yeah. But none of them are bulletproof, though. I get scared.
True.
In bad weather. I mean, we fly in some of the worst weather up here in Dakotas.
Yeah, you guys up there in the northern Midwest and the guys up in Alaska, man, those guys up there, like the Coast Guard and stuff, those guys, they fly in all kinds of stuff that just leave my fat white butt sitting in the easy chair at the house, okay?
Yeah,
it ain't
buddy.
good. Yeah. Yeah. And it's honorable and it's heroic, but okay, call me chicken shit. I'm okay with that.
That's the nice thing about every flight program that I've been with all through my career. We have a policy of 3 to go, to say no. And even though the pilot has the ultimate authority that says we will go, anybody on the crew that says, got that hair on the back of my neck that's standing up and says, I don't like this. And one person says, no, we don't go.
Yeah,
and
that's
now
good.
It's blue and you can see for 50 miles and you have a date after work and you know, it's the last hour of work. You say, oh, I don't want to go on this. Yeah, then you might have to answer to somebody. But
Right.
I've done it 4 or 5 times in my 4 years here. So
May have to answer to someone, but you're alive to do so, right?
right, yeah. No, our
That's-
boss is really good about that. They're, and there's just been a couple times, where if there's freezing rain or if we've been in some heavy snow, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I don't want my last flight to be to the scene of the crash.
Yep.
So,
Right.
it's just like that guy in South Dakota there. What was that, 3 weeks ago? I mean, stupid, just plain stupid. Blizzard conditions, icing conditions. He was in a Pilatus PC-12 and had a whole bunch of hunters out of Idaho. That was out near Chamberlain, South Dakota. And he had, I think, 11 or 12 people. The sad part was it was an entire family, uncles and dads and grandpas. And
Oh,
No.
yeah, and they, it's a single engine. It's a powerful, very good rated aircraft, but I guess they were a minute in flight right after takeoff, and somebody must have been pushing, hey, we got to get home. They're out pheasant hunting. They're all from Idaho, and only 3 of the 12 survived. So too many people in that plane. So it's just bad decision making,
yep.
And,
Yep.
but I don't know. Good decisions, and you'll do okay.
That's how it seems to me. And same thing with flying drones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I almost pulled a Billy Kyle when I was over in Hawaii. Oh my God!
Take your drone skinny dipping.
Almost. Remember he had that Mavic 2 Pro, and he did that range test. He had it out almost 6 miles, I think.
Yeah.
And like I said, you never know what's going to happen with the winds. When I left, I was going in a headwind, and I wasn't out that far. I was only out about 4,000 or 5,000 feet, and I actually had 55% left. Well, the winds took an immediate change, and I'm like, oh crap! And I'm looking at speed, and I'm doing 4 and 5 mile an hour on the way back. I'm like, oh, this is not good.
Oh my God.
And I'm just pucker, and I landed it with 1%.
Oh,
Whoa.
what Dunhill, the guy,
Dustin, yeah.
Dustin
Dunhill.
Dunhill, he did the same thing. Was it with the Mavic Mini? He went way out there and he just barely made it back. Where he finally landed was like 50 or 60 feet from where he was at.
Yeah, that was the Mavic Mini. He went out 2.5 miles.
Yeah, Mavic. That's Mavic Air or Mini. Yeah.
The question I asked myself, though, I mean, I was actually just out looking for whales, and the question I asked myself is, I was up at about 150 feet, and that was high enough where I could get a good view. I could still, see really well. But on the way back, and I'm like, I'm losing all this battery power quick. And do you stay up high where you're fighting the winds worse? But if you come down low and all of a sudden you get to that percentage where it says, hey, I'm landing now you're a lot closer to the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I brought it down to about 75 feet, and tried to get it down out a little bit out of the winds. And I guess that was the right decision, because I literally landed in 1%. I've never done that.
Wow.
Never will again either. So, but those trade winds out there, in the South Pacific, they're pretty strong.
Yeah. Hey, I want to say welcome Mr. Crowley and his drone to the chat. Sean, good morning. There was also Brandon Rain. Good morning. I don't know if he's still here. He said he was just stopping by, but he had to go get some stuff. So, but anyway, good morning, guys.
Morning, everyone.
Was it your show Rodney, where I was showing this off?
No, I don't think so.
Is that a
Okay.
gimbal?
Oh, what is that?
That is a Mavic Pro gimbal,
Oh, okay.
and it won't stay upright because it's all disassembled. I'm going to try and hold it. But that right there is what the sensor goes on. Okay. And more baggies, right?
So it's show and tell. I hope you brought something, Ron.
Here's the camera.
Oh, okay.
Okay. If you can see that connector on the end of the wire there,
Yeah.
that's about 15 wires.
Wow.
And they're all about the size of a hair. Well, this particular camera quit working, and I don't know how well you'll be able to see that, but
Looks like the wire split.
well, no, they're kinked and cracked and broken.
Oh.
See that?
Yeah.
So I believe that's the reason that it's not getting video signal back to the motherboard. Well, there's another connector just like the one on the back side of the sensor that looks like that. And it connects to that little spot. Well, you can't see it very well, but connects to the motherboard on top of the gimbal plate. This wire harness right here is probably a 32nd of an inch thick, and it wraps around all of the round parts of the gimbal, because the gimbal, that's the cable that provides the video feed to the board, but the gimbal all moves, right, and rotates. So that cable wraps around all this stuff and then comes out on the side and up here to the, and plugs in on the board. So it was quite a treat figuring out how to take apart the gimbal to get to the sensor to be able to change that cable out. This gimbal belongs to DroneBum, Paul.
Oh, okay.
It's off of his Mavic. So he sent me his Mavic, and I'm going to try and fix the camera on it.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey, Dennis.
Yes, sir.
The only thing I got for show and tell is whoop, I froze up. There it is. It's the big drone that I'm not allowed to drive. I ride in it, but I'm not allowed to drive it.
Whoa, nice.
Uh,
I need one like that.
yeah.
Now that's a drone.
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
That's not a drone. That's a drone, by God.
Right.
This
There he is.
drone.
That Matt North.
Well, you win, Ron.
Pardon me?
You win.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you show and tell.
You got the bigger toys. Yep.
Yep. So Mel showed something, I showed something, Dennis showed something, and you won.
Damn. I hardly never win.
Well, you
Oh,
did.
wait. I still have this.
Well, Ron still wins.
Oh, well, I tried.
Rodney, I'm going to have to get you a mug. So,
Oh, cool.
I have to send you one of these. Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, actually, I got
All
something,
right.
You're there.
something else.
Mel's got his Rodney Bell mug too.
Yeah, I have to start bringing that to work. You know, well, most of the time I'm on your show anymore. I'm at work.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be back in just a second, guys.
All righty.
I just looked
So-
up. I've only been home for a total of 5 days all month.
Yeah,
Wow.
you've been a pretty busy lad. I want to take some time, say hello to Matt North.
Hey, Matt.
He was saying he just got home, so That's why he's not on the show this morning. Still haven't seen anything from Peter Carroll. I hope he's okay. And hey, Matt, while I'm thinking about it, I caught the very tail end of your live stream last night. So
Adrian was at his best again.
was he? Well, I got on because I told myself I'm going to get on his show. I want to be on his live stream, and I missed it.
Well, you did a couple weeks ago.
I did, and I'd like to be on it more often, but me and my wife went to see Star Wars last night, so when I got home, I was still awake and thought, well, I'll just get on my computer and get my laptop fired up and go out in the living room while she was sleeping and just get on his live stream. But him and Peter, it was him, Jim Boyd, and Peter Carroll at the end there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I kind of added.
Jim Boyd is still alive?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
yeah, I see him on everybody's chat or everybody's live stream now but my own. He used to be a regular.
I think he just stays up too late.
Yeah, I think he does too. And I mean, I know and he's got to sleep sometime. I'll give him that. I mean, to be honest with you, and Matt, I mean this with all sincerity. I think you and Peter and sometimes Trevor, staying up late just to be on my show is, I mean, to me, that's flattering. That you care enough about me to be on.
I get live streams, Rodney. It's around, well, depending on the time of year, it's 3:30, 4 o'clock. Getting up for your live streams or your sunrises. Yeah.
Yeah. Another person is Rick Halbert.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so that's it, Victorian, huh? He ditched me. He probably ditched me for Ron Lockwood. Because I heard. Let me get back to his post here. I mean, he gave it a clue.
Well, Rodney, you and Dennis have to make Denver next year. You just make it happen, because when Matt gets here, we're gonna have a hoot, man.
Well, I'm certainly going to try, but
I am too.
I've got my wife's family is having a reunion in May, so I may not be able to make the Colorado trip. I will definitely try it.
Hey, does Allegiant Airlines fly anywhere around you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Check them out. I mean, they're like, I was actually Jim is going to CES in Vegas, and I was actually going to try and meet up with him. I can go to Vegas for $69 round trip. Round trip.
You say
They
what?
only fly certain days, and yeah, I couldn't work it out in my schedule.
I've heard of Allegiant Airlines.
Yeah, they only fly to certain cities and certain days, depending on the size of your. Like for me, they actually only fly to Vegas and Phoenix, and then you can connect from there. But you really got to pay attention to the schedule of, like, say, if you wanted to go to, like one time I went to California, but they fly into Stockton, which is Northern California. So I'd have to fly into Vegas and then Vegas to Stockton. But again, you got to pay attention to the schedule. Like, when are they flying back out of Vegas back to Rapid City? And yeah, it's tough, but the prices are pretty dirt cheap.
Well, apparently they fly out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Now, how far is that from you?
Oh, about a 2-hour drive in rush hour.
Which means about 6 miles.
No, fortunately, I'm far enough away that I don't have to smell it.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I
So-
tell you, DC is the only place with worse traffic than Atlanta.
Oh yeah, and LA.
Philly. I don't miss Philly. Don't miss that at all. I'm gonna try and hook up with Mikey in February.
Yeah, aren't you going there for some kind of a sports show?
Yeah, the sportsman show. I'll go with my. I did that last year. I went up and represented my boss, helped represent my boss's business. It's the largest sportsman show now in the world.
And that's up in near Pittsburgh, isn't it?
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Me and you talked about meeting up,
Yeah.
going up there. Me going up there.
Any kind of an outdoor person. I mean, you don't even have to be a hunter. I mean, anything. Matter of fact, there's I did like an intro video. It's on my channel. Anything you can think of outdoors, it is there. I forget how many thousands, something like 300,000 square feet of show space.
Wow.
And they get celebrities there, like the guys from Duck Dynasty were there last year, and I met those guys one. Did I ever tell you that? Oh my gosh, little tiny town of Sundance, Wyoming, and something you weren't expecting on a Saturday morning. I had my hunter out. I was guiding, got him a nice deer, real early, first thing in the morning. We go to the butcher. Sundance, you can drive through Sundance in about 1.5 to 3 minutes. That's how big the town is. And
Wow.
we pulled into the butcher and walked in, and there's the whole gang. What a bunch of clowns. They were in there just busting on each other. The film crew was there. They were hunting with another outfitter that was in that area. But yeah, we stood in there for, oh my God, half hour, 45 minutes, just laughing our tails off. Yeah, they're a bunch of kooks.
Yeah, I watched a couple of their shows. Oh, yeah, that's right. Steve Miller just posted that the outdoor show in Harrisburg is very near him.
Yeah.
That's good because then we can meet up with him too. 'Cause I met Steve at Spin Up.
Well, Ronnie, you could drive up there.
Yeah, I can drive up there.
Probably be what, 4 or 5 hours maybe?
Well, it takes about 3.5 hours to get to Lancaster,
Okay.
PA, and Harrisburg is not that much further away, so probably about 4 hours.
Yeah. It's
And that's on a weekend too, right?
yeah, well, it's I think 10 days.
Oh, 10 days.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's huge.
Oh, okay.
Somebody, well, I shouldn't get into politics, but somebody in their left-sided unright mind about 4 years ago decided that there will be no more guns here
Yeah. I
Where?
just remember that.
Where?
in Harrisburg at the show. So with that, all 1,200 vendors, including my boss, boycotted, said, fine, we ain't coming. They said that city lost somewhere in the vicinity of $80 to $100 million because when you think of the show money, hotels, restaurants, gas stations, the city just, and apparently the mayor was the final authority who said, okay, fine, no more guns at this show. And then it's now taken over by the NRA. And needless to say, though, there's guns back at the show. You know. But I'll tell you, you'll see some of the wildest and neatest taxidermy you'll ever see in your life. It's just amazing. My boss luckily has relatives back in the area, and he has a shed back there, a storage shed, and he keeps all his most of his stuff there is for his booth. Yeah. And then so many of our hunters are from Pennsylvania. A lot of guys come to the show and they pick up their taxidermy at the show. He has them ready and done for them by February.
How cool is that?
Yeah, it's really neat. It's something to see, Rodney. If you can get up there, and I would plan on a if you would drive up, either the night before because you can't see the whole place in half a day. You just can't.
Yeah. Well, does it cover over a weekend?
Yeah.
'Cause I
2
could
weeks.
I could
Yeah,
probably come up on a Friday night and stay Friday night and Saturday night, and then spend Saturday and Sunday there.
Because you have a young grandson, right?
Yeah, but
you could bring him up. They have stuff for kids, and I mean, it's you name it. They have a concert towards the end. They have these dog competitions where the dogs will go out, for where they, the retrieving competitions.
yeah.
Oh, it's neat.
Well, I know when I was growing up, Tulsa, they advertised their gun show as the largest gun show in the U.S. But that was pretty much. I mean, it was an outdoor show like the one in Harrisburg, but it was huge too. And that's another one that you couldn't see all in one day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's pretty neat place. But even your wife would enjoy it. I mean, there's stuff.
no, I doubt it.
I mean, there's camping. Anything you can think of outdoors, it's there. But excuse me, I forget how big their outfitter hall. That's primarily where I go, and there's something like 1,200 vendors. Yeah. Put your pocketbook on a leash. I learned that lesson a few times.
Oh yeah.
Haven't learned a lesson. We'll put it that way.
Hey, let me take a couple of seconds here, Matt. If you're still in the chat, have a good night, brother. Hope to see you next Saturday. Let's see, Victorian Aerial Vision. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you being in the chat. One of these days, I'm going to have to get you on the panel. Yeah, let's see. I think that's the only two that were leaving. Oh, Mr. Crowley. Mr. Crowley and his drone. You have a good one, Sean. All of you have a happy New Year.
I might have to go for a coffee refresh here.
Yeah, I'm thinking kind of along the same lines.
That's what I had to go do.
Okay.
Before you guys go, I'd like to share something, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
What am I doing here? How come this ain't where? Here we go. I want to share, and I think Ron will appreciate this. Maybe you will too, Rodney, and hopefully everybody else. My brother, he hunts on my land. And
what land do you have?
5 acres.
Oh, that's a nice little buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one. There's another one. And here's another one he got in the evening. So it was nighttime by the time they got the picture taken.
How many you like?
He's pretty proud of those. He got 1 last year and 2 this year.
Oh,
awesome.
How many buck are you allowed? What state is that in, Mel?
Tennessee.
And
I think he's allowed 2.
2.
Yep. And he got one day and he got the other one the next day.
Yeah. It's weird state to state. South Dakota, you can go get a tag for about any county or draw in multiple areas. But like in Wyoming, you're allowed 1 in a state. That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have so many deer.
Now, see, it's funny because in Tennessee, on your hunting license, if you get the big game, which is anything turkey and up, I think. Yeah, I think it's from turkey on up is considered a bit large. And you can get bucks all you want pretty much, but you have to have a tag for does.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to do that too in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I remember several years ago, Virginia had such an overpopulation of deer that they pretty much for one season, they pretty much had a open season on bucks and deers
Just a free for all.
or does, and yeah, and I think they had they set a limit of 10
Whoa.
because they had such an overpopulation of them.
See,
I may
here-
be wrong on the limits, but
yeah,
I know it's quite a few. It's a lot more than usual.
right. See, Rodney, I remember as a kid, when my dad took me out, and I remember seeing 50, 60, 70 deer in a day. And now, because they have allowed so many excessive doe tags in Pennsylvania, you're lucky if you see five to 10, if you're lucky. In the mountain areas, especially. And that's a deferent to the young youth. You take a 12, 13-year-old out and they're sitting there and they don't see anything. They just want to sit on the ground and make mud pies, and they lose their interest.
Yeah.
Yep.
But one of the things I like, and again, I know I'm talking about Wyoming, but to go out and see, I've seen up to 250 deer in one day out there.
And where was that? Wyoming?
Wyoming, yeah.
Yeah.
But even back in Pennsylvania now, like I said, and so many of my friends back there, they don't even hunt anymore. They said it's so boring to them. There's no challenge. There's no.
You wouldn't know it by running the interstate.
Well, yeah, that's true. But yeah, during the rut season, they get crazy. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get a coffee, guys. I'll be right back. Rodney, you gonna be on for a little bit yet, or?
Probably. At least another 30 minutes, if not more. And Dennis, you and Mel talk amongst yourselves. I'm gonna go get some coffee as well.
That's going to be brutal. I don't think Dennis has said 5 words.
Because we don't give him a chance.
You're right. 5 words. There you go.
Oh, now we're in there. You said
Now
5
I've
words.
said 5 words. Well, tell us a
So
joke, Mel.
what do you think about this dead ram chip?
I only heard a part of that story, but I have never seen a RAM memory card that would shut down, prevent power from rising on a PC.
Yeah, on a fresh build, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's why the guy at Best Buy determined that it was the motherboard that was bad.
Yeah.
Well, so I brought the case home, took everything apart, put the motherboard back in the box, went down there and exchanged it, brought the new one back, put the new one all back together, and had the exact same problem.
Yeah. Do you have a really good magnifying glass? You may
No.
find a short between those pins. That would do it. That would shut a motherboard down.
Oh, in the motherboard. Yeah, I don't know.
No. On that card that you're holding right there, if there's a short between 2 pins, where one's a ground and the other is not, that could potentially bring the motherboard down. To prevent it powering up.
Well, yeah, when I take this chip out, it powers up just fine. And I took a pair of these out of my machine, So now I'm short 16 gig of RAM in my machine.
Right.
But so it may give me the opportunity to take mine from 32 to 64.
There you go.
And then, because I've still got 2 8 gig chips on my motherboard. So I'll take one of those and add it to that motherboard. And hopefully that motherboard is not bad. Hopefully because when I put this back in my machine, it showed that I had 32 gig installed, but only 16 usable.
Weird.
Yeah. So
That's an 8 gig chip?
yep.
That's weird. It knocked out the other one too, huh? If
Well,
you had
knocked out one of
you
them.
lost 16 gig.
Well, yeah, the machine, the computer saw that I had 32 gig in it again,
Right.
but and when you go to system, it said 32 gigabytes, 16 usable.
Yeah. So that would account for 8. Then there's another 8 that's not accounted for, that's not usable. So I know they run in pairs like that. So
Yeah.
2 channels.
And yes, Metro, I got them in the right slots. Absolutely. Motherboard is clearly marked for which slots to use first.
Hello, Jack.
So, morning, Jack.
We've kicked Rodney out. We've kicked Ron out. Now we're trying to battle between ourselves, figure out which one of us is going to get kicked out.
Yeah, I'll just volunteer. I know when to compete and when not to.
There you go.
You got the Mini for Christmas. Well, good for you.
All right. Mine was delivered the day after Christmas.
And you're just now opening the box today?
No, isn't that crazy?
Oh my goodness.
Like I said, I was going to do some sort of video, but it went the way of most of the video ideas that I have in my mind. So
Yep.
Ron's back.
Hey.
Quiet.
Yeah, quit. We got to change the subject now. He's
I
back.
know.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
Mel, I think I still have your address.
Uh-oh.
I owe you, so I'll have to send you a mug too. And Dennis, I'll get you one.
What do you don't owe me nothing. What are you talking about?
You sent me a bag once.
Yeah, okay.
Mavic 2 bag.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So get you an official AirMed cup.
Oh, that'd be
There
cool.
you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, from when I shipped you that bag, I'll give you a different mailing address if you want to do that. But it's not necessary, but that's cool.
Yeah, send me a new ad or your new address.
Okay. Boy, we changed the subject just in time. Quit talking about
We
him.
sure did.
Yeah.
You guys didn't know, but I was listening. I'd like to say good morning to Jack Sparky Fran, Metro Drones, Phantom Hodges Drone. Welcome to the chat. Good to see you guys. Okay. So,
I was going to say, Rodney, can I show one more thing for show and tell today?
sure, go ahead.
You've already won.
He's a show off, Dennis. He's a show off.
Yeah.
No, I'm kind of tickled by this. It's nothing more than bragging rights, but the Pacific Whale Foundation actually asked for 3 of my photos. And the guy I talked to, one of the biologists on the boat, and I told him, I said, God, you got to get some big time photographers on here. He said, yeah, we do. He said, but I'd like 3 of your photos. And if you wouldn't mind, he said, we're nonprofit. And he said, if you wouldn't mind sending 3 of your photos to us, he said, the scientists and the biologists like to examine every good photo that they get because they keep track of these whales so significantly. But I think you've seen the one that was in my video. But this one here.
Whoa.
Oh, that's nice.
That's beautiful.
That is a beautiful shot.
And then the other one,
What sort of whale was that?
humpback.
Let me make that larger.
Wow. Hold on. There we go.
Cool. That's nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
And then this one, the different one.
Oh.
He was about 75 yards, 100 yards from the boat. So,
Looks like he's waving goodbye to all of his audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then two big males were fighting. That's the one they really wanted. It was this one here.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you shoot those with, Ron?
Pardon me?
What camera?
That was that new Sony that I bought. It was my first time really testing it, and it was the RX10 Mark IV, and shoots 4K video and JPEG RAW. Yeah, I really love the 24 frames a second it'll shoot for a 10-second burst. You can shoot 240 pictures in 10 seconds.
Whoa.
Yeah. No, you can't shoot anything else for about the next 30 seconds. It takes a while to buffer all that.
Yeah, it's got to write all that down.
Yeah, you just press on the button and it sounds like a little machine gun going off. And yeah, the focus on it is really good.
What was the lens?
It has its own built-in lens.
Oh, okay.
Shoots f2.8 to f4 at 24 millimeters out to 600.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that's the camera. That's my go-to camera this spring. I'm going to be going to an area outside of Yellowstone where probably one of the highest population of grizzly bears are this spring, and I'm gonna go up and film the grizzlies.
You gonna film wrestling with the Grizzlies?
Well, sure, why not? That'd be a show to watch.
Yes, it would. I don't know
If I
would
did something like that, a green screen would be
apart
involved.
by a grizzly, but it might be interesting.
I got a connection just outside of the north entrance of Yellowstone. A guy, he is a big time photographer for Yellowstone, and he does documentaries. He's the one that has the pet grizzly bear. He brings them to that sportsman show every once in a while.
Oh, does
Whoa.
it?
Yeah, his name's Brutus. He's about a 900,000 pound grizzly. It's his
Wow.
pet, but he has revealed a secret little area that he don't tell very many people. And he said, if you see people out there, you see a big lens along with them, you know. But he said it's that area right there. He said it's some of the most seen grizzly bears in the whole state.
Wow.
The dirt road, it's about 5 miles long. So
Wow.
I'm gonna go spend a couple days there. He actually has a refuge. He has 5 grizzlies, and the one he goes out on walks with them, and
Well,
he's had 15, 20 years.
I think I saw a video of him going with Brutus. I think I
Yeah.
saw a video on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he's a photographer too. He does a really great job. Oh, but
He must have raised him with it from a cub. Huh?
mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Can you really raise out the wild though? I mean, it's still a wild animal.
yeah, it's still wild, and that's it's one of the things he talks about is that keep in mind it's still a grizzly bear.
It'll
and-
still stomp a mud hole in your butt.
Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that this spring going up there. And it's only about 4 or 5 hours from my house.
Cool.
So actually about 3 hours. I may just leave directly from work here. It's actually closer from my work. Oh, Gardner, Montana actually is where it's at.
Hello, new joiners.
I'd like to say good morning to Gareth Frost Turkey Throat 113, Phantom Hodges Drone, Mike Kelly. They've just joined the chats. Good morning, my friends. Glad you could make it.
You still let that 400 AGL guy type in your chat, man. What God, Rodney?
Well, look, the guy, he's not right in the head.
I believe that.
You gotta feel
and I
sorry for
tried.
some people.
I just feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
Is that what it
That's all
is?
you can do.
Yeah.
At least somebody does.
Why don't
Nobody
you
else.
ever meet those people in person, right, Mel?
Right? Nobody ever feels sorry for me. Yeah. I mean him or something.
Yeah, that's my mom's old phrase. I think she got it from the radio. Everybody hates me. Nobody loves me. I'm going out in the garden and eat worms.
First sign of insanity is hair on your knuckles. Second sign of insanity is talking about yourself in third person. You know.
See, Mike Kelly and Blended Whiskey has just joined the chats as well. So,
Gonna get some rest. Rick, take care. Be safe. Have a good weekend if you can. Look forward to having your issues taken care of on Monday.
Yes,
Stay in
sir.
touch. Stay in touch, please.
yes, Rick.
Yeah, Rick.
Prayers for Rick, 9 a.m. Eastern time. Monday.
Rick,
Before that's good too.
as soon as you get a chance, let us know how it comes out. You know, don't rush it. Just
Pardon the pun. That was, you feel silly there, Rodney? I mean,
yeah. Thanks, Mel. I would have been just.
hey,
I would have been perfect if you hadn't have said anything.
what, friends are supposed to, help each other out, I
Yeah,
Well,
I'm perfectly capable of feeling silly without your help. So.
Yeah. Anyway, Rick, you take care, brother. Keep us informed. So how's your wife doing, Dennis?
She's fine, thanks. Yeah, she's it's 6. Sorry, all right, it's 10:30 in the nighttime there, so she's sleeping by now. But yeah, her parents are doing great. They're both 93 years old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and
That's awesome.
well, that's why she's there, to take care of them. But yeah, she's doing fine. They just went to. She was showing me something that our niece, who also lives there, got from a mall called My City. My City used to be a really famous mall. If you know Mike Schofield, or sorry, Prison Break, the TV series, Mike Schofield made an appearance there at My City, and all the, Shanghai was in a rage. I mean, they happy, they were all excited about the fact that he was there. Now, you couldn't attract that sort of talent to My City. It's just not popular anymore. I think malls in China are doing the same thing they're doing here. They're just kind of falling by the wayside to the equivalent of Amazon.
Yeah, the electronic age has definitely made its share of changes in the way we do things.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
I mean, just think 10 years ago, just 10 years ago, who'd have thunk you could have people sitting like this, talking like they're all in the same room with each other.
Oh, yeah.
And have 20 people visiting in a side chat bar. I mean, who'd have thunk, right?
Yeah, no kidding. But Mel, and you'll probably appreciate this. Well, all of you might appreciate it. I remember seeing my very first cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my very first cell phone. It was in my big truck.
It was 84, 85. And it was that old Motorola brick.
Yeah. Those things are huge.
Is that what they called the phones?
Huh?
Is that what they called the bag phones?
No. This wasn't a bag phone.
Bag phone came later.
Yeah, the bag phone came shortly after that. But this thing cost $1,800. It had a standby time of 20 minutes and a talk time of 15 minutes.
Well, they've already got the price down, and only what, 35 years, 40 years, 30 years. They've gotten the price down all the way to $1,500.
Yeah. Well, the phones get more complicated. The phone back that Motorola phone wasn't that complicated.
Yeah.
And I also remember that calls were like 35 cents
a minute. Yep.
Wow.
Plus your monthly fee to have it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Wow.
My first cell phone was a Nokia. It had an actual handset with a cradle that you could lock it into, and it had a brain that you had to mount in the vehicle. So the handset cable went to the brain. From the brain was the antenna outside, and I had it in my big truck. And it was so convenient to be able to call my customers and stuff from the truck and not have to try to find a place to park my big truck to use a payphone or something like that.
Oh yeah.
$3,500 a month convenient.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Needless to say, I only used it a month. Then it was an emergency phone only.
Mel, do the truckers still use the CBs like they used to, or they've kind of?
They use them, but not like they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many new guys into it now that are destroying the CB in the trucking world, because of just being stupid.
This is my first cell phone.
You've still got your first cell phone?
And I do. Yeah, this is, I bought this phone the day that I met my wife. Believe it or not, in Japan. So yeah.
Wow.
That was 1999.
Wow. $19.99.
Yeah, probably about what I paid for it.
Oh, 1,900.
No, I meant the year was 1999.
Oh, 1999.
Keep up, Rodney. Keep up. Come on.
Well.
Yeah, it's a flip phone,
Coffee.
which was great technology at the time.
Yep.
Such a deal.
That's twice already I've ended up with egg on my face. I'm just going to shut up.
We'll just get you some bacon and bread and you'll be in business.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, this might be a receipt. No, not. This is the equivalent of a SIM card.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Yep.
Goodness.
Now, if you're running around with somebody that you know, you might go up on a obscure channel that not many people use so that you can carry on a conversation.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's just people being stupid and not even. I haven't turned my CB on in the last 5 years. I was on the road or more.
Really?
Yeah, I just don't even bother turning it on.
You think it's just because cell phones have become so popular? Or?
That's maybe part of it, because if I wanted to talk to somebody, I'd probably rather talk to somebody I know, so I'd call them on the phone.
Yeah.
And you could sit and talk unlimited talk, with no problem. But the rest of it is you come up on a traffic jam in the middle of nowhere. There's two things that cause traffic jams: road construction and accidents. Period. That's the only two things that cause traffic jams out in the middle of, open country. Invariably, you'll get 15 guys sitting in traffic. Hey, just turn my radio on. What's causing the backup up here? What the fuck going on? What the buck this and what the buck that, and stupid A this and stupid A that, and it's just not even worth listening to. And notice I was saying buck, not.
Yeah, I got you.
I made sure I was trying to pronounce it kind of bluntly, but not too, graphic. But anyway, it's just not even worth listening to. Not even worth listening to. So then you get the guys that want to answer the guy that said, "Yeah, what's causing the traffic jam? What?" Well, you stupid shit. If you had your radio on, you'd be hearing us listen to it. You know, you'd be talking, be knowing what, because we've been talking about it for 30 miles and this and that. It's just not even worth listening to anymore.
So the nice, friendly community it always was then.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
But then the whole industry isn't anymore.
Right. Yeah.
When I started and up until just the last few years, if you're in a truck stop and you're pulling in or something or driving down a parking aisle and somebody puts their four-ways on, that means they're going to back up. That means you stop and let them back out of their parking space and move on. And then maybe you'll take their parking space, you know, whatever. Now, when you put your four-ways on to start backing up, if somebody's coming, they accelerate to try to get by you so that they don't have to wait for you to back up.
Yeah, because that 2 seconds you were going to cost them, that's just going to ruin their day.
And you know what? Unfortunately, in some cases that actually can, because if I get with these electronic logs that are tied into the computers on the truck now, if you are not parked when the electronic logbook says you need to be parked, you get a logbook violation.
Oh my goodness.
And so if guys cut it too short or they hit a little traffic getting in to their last stop of the day for the truck stop and they think they got it made and they're going to have 10 minutes to spare, but traffic burned up 8 of those minutes and you get in the truck stop and now you got a minute to get parked before your logbook says, hey, you're still driving and you're over hours. Now I'm going to violate you. And oh yeah, it's pathetic. It's crazy. The activists have destroyed the industry and the drivers have destroyed the industry and the public, yeah, all electronic.
Really?
GPS tracked, electronically tied to the ECM on the motor.
And the police can check that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's a different device. It's like handing them a smart device that's got a cable running to your truck that's connected, wired to your truck now.
Wow.
And it's really ridiculous because if people think about stuff, this right here, smartphone, right? It knows everywhere I go, everywhere I've been, and when I was there. I don't need an electronic device in my truck tracking me to keep track of my driving time and when I started driving and how long I spent parked at a certain location and what have you. In a court of law, if I have a wreck and somebody dies, they're going to look at my electronic log, but they're going to look at my phone. They're going to look at every possible thing they can look at to try to prove that I was in the wrong and caused the wreck because I should not have been where I was because I was driving illegally. With paper logs, it was harder to prove because you could draw in your logbook and write it however you wanted it to read. You could write whatever you wanted in there and make it look legal. I mean, and back in the day, 30 years ago, I did things like that myself. I'm guilty of it. I left Richmond, Virginia, Saturday morning, had lunch with my wife in San Diego at noon on Monday.
Whoa.
By myself. That's not what my logbook said I did. My logbook said I left Richmond, Virginia Thursday and arrived in California Monday or Tuesday, Monday night, you know. But what I actually did was totally different.
Hey, Rodney, he just admitted that on your channel.
I know.
Now they're coming after him.
Let them come. Prove it.
There you go.
The thing about fishing stories, my fish was that big, right?
Right.
How big was the fish really?
Yeah. My fish was this big.
Yeah.
2 of them.
Yep. 2 of them. Both of them, right?
Did any of you guys ever get into the ham radios at all when they were popular?
I never did.
I thought about doing it at one time, but that is really an expensive hobby.
It is, yeah.
Because you have to be licensed to do that. You have to have a license, and
Yeah,
Supposed to be, yeah.
yeah, kind of like how drones are going.
yeah.
Yeah, have you seen the new FAA stuff?
Last thing I saw from the FAA was last week, and I forgot what it was about. But
I got one just a couple days ago. They're talking about drone identification, electronic.
oh, that's the one I got a couple of days ago. Yeah, drone identification.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how I feel about that right now.
None
Rodney,
of it bothers me.
It doesn't me either.
I
Like
can
putting a
see it
license
from
on
it.
your car.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to bother me at all. It's just I really haven't given it much thought anyway. So,
Rodney, how are you making out with that YouTube, your YouTube channel thing? That whole issue you were dealing with.
yeah, okay, Dennis, Mel, I got an email from
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and they wanted me to Xerox a copy of my driver's license or my birth certificate or my passport. Well, I refused to do it. They didn't want to tell me what channel they were talking about. I suspected it was the one I created for Colin when he was getting into drones. And sure enough, that's what it was about. And they canceled they disabled his YouTube, which I was going to do anyway, but I couldn't remember his password. So anyway, they did what I was trying to do to begin with, because he no longer wants to fly drones and he's more into playing Fortnite and stuff now.
But what was their reason or need for deleting his channel?
He was underage. He was under the age of consent.
So you couldn't get in there to mark that.
So a 13-year-old or under can't have a YouTube channel now?
Apparently so. Well, they can, but they tell you to go to like YouTube for Kids.
Yeah.
Or let me see if I still have the email.
Well, wouldn't that be where a kid would make a YouTube channel anyway?
I haven't looked lately, but
there.
JT Farmer used to be, I think he may be 13, he may be even 14, but he was a young kid. And he had a huge following, JT Farmer. I don't know if you know of him, but
I know of him.
Yeah, that's some evidence right there. He had a big following, and he's in Colorado, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He was a farmer, just a kid. I don't know what happens to people like that. Or what's the young lady's name on the narrowboat?
Emma.
Yeah.
She's still posting videos, but when Fiona set that up, she set it up, I think, in her name. So with her her birthday, not Emma.
Yeah.
So it may
well, it's marked as a kid's channel because you can't comment on her videos and stuff.
Well,
something.
yeah. That's true too. You can't comment on her videos.
Is that right? I didn't know that. See, I'm guilty of not watching.
Something is different about it. And I asked Claude, and he said that's because it's because she's underage. And I went, oh,
yeah. It all has to do, like Ace 88 RC says, it has to do with the new COPA rules that YouTube has to follow.
It's not new rules. It's old rules. COPA has been around for a very long time. It's just most people are just now hearing about it.
Just let me say this: now that they're beginning to enforce them,
yeah,
because apparently they haven't been enforcing them, and then they got taken to court.
Oh wow!
So,
well, hey guys, I'm gonna say adios.
You get to go home.
I get to go home as long as hopefully my relief will be here in 10 minutes or so, and the flight gods will be quiet for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. I don't get to go home until I leave.
You're already home, Dennis.
You're-
Oh,
I
that's
I
fine.
don't get to leave until I go.
Yeah,
And I don't get to leave until you guys go.
yeah.
There's a song about that. Show
Thank
me
God
the
a
way to go
Greyhound, he's
home,
gone.
boys. Show me the way to go home. Had a little drink about an hour ago.
And it
Left
went
me all alone.
in my head. I heard it a different way, but
Yeah, it's go me the way to show home, boys. Had a little drink about an hour ago. Yeah, there's all kinds of.
If I don't catch any of you guys, have a happy new year. Please be safe.
And you also, Ron, thanks.
And
you too, Rod.
Well, you better catch us, Ron. We'll all be at my show on Sunday night,
oh yeah, yeah.
and then we'll be at Lloyd's show on Monday night.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be home and rested. And holy cow!
Right on.
Yeah,
You're not going to know what to do with yourself, Rod.
I know you'll see Elvis and Victor in the background. And
Okay. Ace, YouTube did not get sued for $170 billion. Google paid a $170 billion fine levied against them by the Federal Trade Commission. Come on, let's get the facts straight. Please. Please.
alrighty, guys, everybody be safe. Have a happy new year, and we'll hope to talk to you all real soon.
All right, Ron, have a good one.
Be safe, Ron. Drive
Yeah,
safe.
Ron.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end this one for today.
Oh, the star of the show leaves, the big winner, and you're going to
Yeah,
punish the rest of
and
us.
now it's over. Now
Yeah.
it's over.
Well, I tell you what, I ain't
Just
never.
once I want to win one of the, I could use the money, you know.
Well, okay. What a bunch of whiny babies.
Rod, thank you for hosting the show this morning. Thanks for
Yes.
providing
Well,
a place for all of us to get together and hang out and shoot the breeze.
Thanks for being here, Mel. Always a pleasure. You too, Dennis. Thanks for being here.
Thanks
Have a
for
great
having
day,
me.
sir.
And Love My Drones just came in. Good morning, Ed. You caught us right at the end there, brother. Mel, have a good one. Dennis, you too, brother.
Thanks, you guys too, and everyone in the chat.
All righty.
See ya.
Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. I know everybody has better things to do on their Saturday mornings, but I do appreciate you being on my show, being in the chats. Anyway, hope your weekend is a great one, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you next Saturday for both the sunrise and Saturday morning coffee with Rodney, the 2020
go.
version.
See you.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.